Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave here, along with Buckle Up Bob as a special guest. We got him manning the table, big table this morning, and also the producer manning the boards, shaking it down, making everything work. Right, we got everything working this morning because it's not always right. I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes we have issues, right?
Yeah, sometimes we do have issues, I would say. That's why my hair's a mess, because we're always running around out here.
I noticed we got panels off of the machines. I'm worried that there might be some issues going on internally. Is that just housekeeping, or what is that going on over there?
It is housekeeping, but if we do lose our audio board again like we did the other day...
You need quick access?
I need quick access.
Wait, I think you need one of those slide panels.
There you go.
Not one of the bolt-in panels. You need one of those just slide in, and that way you can reach in and a little more.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to be easy access so people can't mess things up. But, yeah, it just is what it is. But I think we figured out the tech issues.
Oh, you think so? You don't think we'll ever have another tech issue?
We'll know if we have any issues with the knurl today, because we do have a guest on.
So them extra 10 bolts on the floor, just don't... You'll find a spot for them, right? There was one movie I was watching where the guy wrecked his car and the mechanic goes back with a box of parts. He goes, "What are these?" He goes, "Oh, that always happens."
Yeah, there's always extra parts, always extra stuff going on out there. It is, Bob, guess what day it is today?
It is your birthday. No, it's Thankful Thursday. Drive safe.
All right, tell us about Thankful Thursday.
It's something we've been doing for over 3.5 years.
And what is it? And what it
is we make it a celebratory day every week to make sure that drivers out there are appreciated, that they feel appreciated, and not just words, but thoughts, actions, whatever it takes to make sure that, right now, as you can see, when chips are down, everybody all looks to the truck driver, and then when things start to level off, they want to start going back and blaming the truck driver. And we just want to make sure, I know I hear it, and I say it more than Thursdays, but every Thursday, we want to make sure that we absolutely focus on thanking each and every one of you men and women out there that do, as we see in videos every day, an incredibly dangerous job, and you do it safely. And that, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, as we talk about Thankful Thursday, and I know we do it every Thursday, but I don't want us to forget the commitment of our appreciation to you out there every day. I get it. It is a job. It's what you do, but still, it's underappreciated as a whole, right?
It is.
I mean, you look around the world, you look around, and I will tell you that a lot of the times you get the brunt, hey, I appreciate the trucker, but get out of my way. I mean, there's, why are you in the left lane? Why are you, or why are you parked there? Or what do you do? These things right here, we talk about it, but you know what? I think we need more action, right? We need more courteousness out there. And if we definitely want to show our appreciation out there, not just a thumbs up or a hand wave, but you know what? Treat each other with respect out there on the road. I think that's really how truck drivers would want to be appreciated more than anything else. Just treated with respect out there while they're driving, while they're doing their job. I mean, it matters. It matters to them. It matters to every driver out there. We've got a lot of drivers on the call, and I want to say thank you to each of you. As a group, I don't want to go down the list and say thank you, but I'd like to say thank you. I could do it. How many we had on there? I could do that many thank yous, but I'm just going to go one big hug.
Well, you've got the
group hug
to do the one big hug.
I got the what?
You got the wingspan to do
one big hug. Let's get it in. Let's pull it in close, and know that we here at BCB Live love you, and that we want you safe, and that we want you protected, and we want you to know that you're appreciated 100%. Absolutely. I like to use all those words that everybody uses too many times, but this is the case in the time in which it needs to be used.
Yeah, and I want to encourage carriers out there. We fight it here and we try to do it, but the industry, by the way it is treats them as numbers, not as people. We kind of desensitize the fact that they have stories, they have lives, You know, and every once in a while you get reminded of it. That it was done to me this morning. That, you know, they suffer losses. They're people. So I want to encourage carriers out there, when you send emails or you talk to your people, make sure that you say, hey, truck so and so. No, say the driver's name. Make it personal. They are people, and I think a lot of times we kind of desensitize that to a point where it is a number, not a name. Did I say the word wrong?
I get it. You know what, I am leaning more towards that. You know, when in my phone, I have almost all of my buddies that I drove with. They're all their truck numbers. You know, I mean, I got 109. I got Howard's number in here is 109.
Yeah.
I just have, because not only did we their call sign out there, but you know their trucker name, but also their truck number, and we did that a lot. But yeah, it is more than that, right? But
Yes.
but it is us message to you. You know what we do have, Bob. We have a great guest on today, and we're going to bring them on, much like what Kenny does, but also a little bit different. Rodney's going to come on today, and he's going to talk to us. It's going to be a great interview because it tells a little bit more about. You know, he does a lot of coming in and helping out with the audits, right? He comes in and helps out. And I think we've got to know a little bit more about some of the requirements the DOT has and some of the encounters that he's out there doing, helping small trucking companies be better trucking companies, right? Not only for, you know, if you're actually better, right, Bob, at taking care of your paperwork and doing, you're going to be better out there as 100%, right? You're going to see and not miss things that need to be seen, right? Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely correct. Drive safe.
So we're going to take just a couple. We're going to take a quick break and come back with a really cool interview. All right, and welcome back to BCB Live, and here he is, the well-known, the well-renowned Rodney Miller. How are you doing this morning, sir?
Good morning, guys.
Hey, it is great to see you this morning, and welcome to the show. Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Hey, listen, we have a great opportunity to have you here. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, what you do, and we'll go from there.
All right. You know, like I said, my name is Rodney Miller, and happy to be here this morning. I'm previously just retired this last March from the Austin Police Department after 29 years, and most of my career I was in the license weight unit as an inspector. Latter part of my years, I was the sergeant coordinator of the unit. Retired. Loved the trucking safety industry and wanted to stay in it. Retired fairly young. I know the gray hair doesn't show it, but a buddy of mine with DPS got me this gig with Waterloo and Lumber Insurance as their safety consultant. So I'm happy they're a great organization, and you know, they specialize in smaller operations. You know, a few trucks to 25 trucks, and I guess that's their specialty niche. And these companies aren't big enough to have a full-size, you know, safety personnel on board, and so they all have multiple hats, and that's where we come in. You know, as new clients, my services are used, and go in and do a mock audit just so I can get a good pulse of their operation. And you know, I'm part of their insurance. I have nothing to do with the insurance. I'm just their safety consultant part. But I go in and do this mock audit, and not just a, hey, I found this, ha ha ha. I'm part of your insurance group. I'm gonna not just point out where you're not compliant, what we're gonna do to get your steps in to get you compliant. And then I do driver training. It's just, I love what I do.
That's awesome. And as you talk about it, it's important that you have these huge trucking companies that have these huge staffs that also have these multiple safety personnel involved, and they have all these roles in which they can play this important part. But yeah, you talk about the 5-truck company. I got 5 trucks, and not only am I the owner and the dispatcher, I'm also, and now I'm also the safety guy, right? I'm a little bit of everything, and the payroll guy, and it all happens like that and then all of a sudden you get to 10, and then here we are. And Rodney, what is it that really is, when you go into these trucking companies, that they need the most after you do these mock audits?
Well, when I go in, I meet with the executive teams and, talk about just the industry with the lawsuits and this and that, and just showing them just if they go to the safer, just if anybody can, has the name of the company or the DOT number, they can type that in and get just a snapshot of their safety operations. And people are just floored just of that information. At first, when I started this, I was a little shocked, but now I'm not shocked anymore. But you go into these operations; they're great operations. They want to do safe. They're doing this, but they've got everything going on, and I'm a fresh set of eyes, so to speak, coming in, looking at their operations. And you've got these multi-million-dollar operations, and they don't have driver qualification files. They sometimes may have a drug program, but it's not implemented fully. They don't have a safety policy. And like I said, these are professional organizations. They really want to do the right thing, but time and time again, I hear, I wish there was a playbook. There's no playbook, for us to do the right thing. We want to do the right thing, but so they're happy for me to come in and kind of fill that void, so to speak.
What's Rodney? They call me Buckle Up Bob. I'm the safety director here with BCB, and we did exactly what you suggested. And I had zero doubt that we were doing a lot of really good things, but it was really nice to come in and see where we needed to clean up. What is the number one violation, I guess, if you will, that you see carriers when you come in? It's like, seems to be at every carrier that they have to address right away. Was it the files you just mentioned, or is there an area? I know from our DOT score, vehicle maintenance, it seems to be the hardest for every carrier.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, it's driver qualification files, it's the drug programs, it's your mechanic files. Time and time again, I guess the most common, is the driver qualification files. I go in and say, can I see your driver files? They hand me one folder, everything. So and the best thing I can tell everybody right now is just go to FMCSA's website and look at the driver qualification file checklist. Right there is exactly, and print this out, save this. This is exactly what you should have in a driver qualification file. Treat this like the Bible. If any document is not on this form, it goes in their personnel folder. And so driver qualification or DQ folders need to be labeled exactly that, kept in a cabinet, displayed driver qualification files, and secured. And then a personnel folder needs to be, somewhere else. And that the file cabinets like that is, Joe's not here today. They have a court order to get a DQ folder on John Q. Public. You don't want them to get something else. You want them, okay, that's the driver qualification folder, and grab that.
Do you and I as we talk about it, and I know you do it every day, but can you tell us anything like anytime you've gone in and directly impacted a company as it applies to this safety audit? You know, you go in and you do the safety audit, and you go in and you attack it, and then after that, just can you tell us anything like that?
Well, I mean, I take it as a success story when I could go into an operation and, you know, they've got a good ratings and all that, but you go in and they don't have their driver qualification files, buttoning up their drug programs, streamlining their maintenance records and this and that. And if I can get that, you know, steam rolling ahead, you know, I take pride in that, and I like that. I think the importance of everybody, you know, whether you use my services or use another services to do this and act on our recommendations. You know, I tell every client, I'm going to tell you my best legal advice on a lot of things. You can listen to me or you cannot. I recently had a client, fairly new. I pointed out everything on their audit, a lot of things they were not compliant. Didn't really act on my recommendations in a timely manner, and now are under a federal compliance review. So looking at some pretty good fines and, you know, safety rating reductions and new implementations. So I want to get everybody in compliance and get everything. Heaven forbid, you know, something triggers a compliance review, or the luck of the draw, you get a random. You know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bob.
Rodney. One of the things, you know, we see a lot of these nuclear verdicts, and with your insurance, how does the audits and you mentioned a company that didn't really follow up on your suggestions in these accidents? How does that play out into their, or does it?
Well, I mean, you know, with this, you know, HB 19 here in Texas, you know, it's the first tort reform. You know, if you button up those 8 items, this lawsuit over that crash can only be about that crash and not go into your safety policies and all that. And that's where all these nuclear verdicts are coming from. But, you know, if you don't have a safety policy, if you don't have this, whether or not it goes in that trial, another lawsuit, you know, you have a forklift operator that runs over a customer's foot or something. I mean, that's where your safety policies, all that stuff that you may not be buttoned up, it will be highlighted on instances like that.
You spoke of a playbook. When are you writing the playbook for getting this going? Because you know, I think, and don't you think we should, and if anybody should write it, Rodney, shouldn't it be you or somebody like you to create this playbook for companies out there? I truly believe that it would be very helpful if we had something out there, and I truly believe somebody like you should write that or create a playbook, right?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. You know, it just, and I see that. I guess that's the surprise, you know, coming from the law enforcement side to the civil side, is, you know, it's great people. They have great operations. They really want to do the right thing. They just don't know how to do this and how to, you know. So that's where I mean, I'm really happy to fill that void, so to speak, and get them in compliance so that way paperwork wise they're okay. But then they do driver training, available, you know, all the time for questions, and I just love it.
You had and you talk about, and I know you a long-standing career as an officer, you know, and thank you for your service in that regard. My question is, as you've moved from enforcement more now to consulting, right? I mean, that truly, what was the biggest, what was the biggest surprise? Did you have a genuine surprise or anything like that as you moved from enforcement to that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, you're walking into, and these really nice people. I mean, they've got a great organization, this and that, and they have no safety policy. They don't have driver qualification files. They don't have this and that, and it's shocking that as of to now, nothing tragic, thank God, has happened that highlights that you don't have this. And I see that time and time again going into clients, and I guess if anything, that's the biggest shock.
we talk about it, and Bob, and we've sat here and I've listened to this conversation, and to me, it seems to me, you need to have a safety audit. You need to have some kind of audit done at some point to find these issues if you haven't had them, right? You would recommend a safety audit, right, Rodney, at any time at some point if you've never had one, right, to fill in these gaps?
Right. I mean, that's what, Waterloo and Lumber Insurance, they specialize in these smaller companies, but whether you use my services or somebody else, I highly recommend that. It's, we're an outside looking in, and you're doing everything, you're really not, I'm not going to say you're not paying attention, but you're busy doing everything else. You may not just look at something that maybe, outside looking in that we can point out.
And if somebody needs to or gets to hold, how can they reach out to you, Rodney, to do that? Or how can they reach out to your group to get that information, that to do this, to get in and get involved in, or ask for, or that kind of stuff? Can they do that? Can they reach out to you?
Yeah, they can reach out to me. They can reach out to Waterloo Insurance or Lumber Insurance Services directly. But if they get a hold of me, I can talk to them. I can get you in touch with an agent. Like I said, we'd be happy to work with you. But I think the bottom line is, like you said, is just whether you use my services or somebody else's, just please reach out to somebody. Get a mock audit or compliance review done. Get somebody in to really do the driver trainings. I do when I do proper pre-trip, I teach what most common roadside inspection is a level 2 inspection. So I teach drivers, this will be your pre-trip, post-trip is a level 2. So I show them exactly what roadside is look for, and now that's what they're going to look for when they do their pre-trip. And I stick with this number. You're going to find 80% of what we found roadside. Now you're going to find that in the yard. And that's where we want it to be found.
Oh, and when you do these trainings and you come out and you do these trainings, Rodney, how is the feedback from the driver? I'm just curious. How you know what? The driver's been driving for 20 years. When you go out there and you talk to him, how's that genuine feedback?
It's been pretty positive. I'm not wearing a uniform anymore, so I guess they can look at me as a civilian, so they're not threatened or anything. But no, I mean they know my past, so they've asked questions related to the law enforcement and the interaction on a stop, on inspection, and really good questions. I mean that's a lot of my time. The training is the length, and then however I'll stick around, however long questions I have, and that's part of my services. If later on, if they have a question or a roadside inspection, that company can always reach out to me, and we'll get it whatever resolved, or if I can help them with the situation.
I also, as long as you're standing there and you're not wearing a gun, I think the conversation goes a whole lot different than if you were standing there wearing a gun. I mean, for me, I'm a little more relaxed if you and I are standing out there by the truck talking about the truck.
And he can't shoot you.
Yeah. Or when you're standing there with a gun talking to me about my truck. There's a whole different feel. Don't you agree?
Yeah. No, I mean, I like I said, I had a job to do, and when I supervised the guys, we had a job to do on truck inspection, and we're all about safety. We're not about revenue and all that. Now I have a different hat. Now I look at the other half. Now I look at the office settings and all that stuff that we didn't do in the law enforcement setting.
One of the things is I know it changed for me as I get more involved from the safety side. After 20 years, when you switched, did you see anything that you changed, kind of your opinion from when you were an officer to now? And is there anything that you think that in the from the Federal Motor Carrier side needs to be reformed on the inspections, or maybe even the audits out there, the roadside inspections?
Wow, that's a loaded question. What could be changed with FMCSA? That's for a different show, and it's going to take a lot longer.
We appreciate that. Hey, Rodney, real quick, I do want to I do want to ask you, if you would, could you go ahead and give us maybe your email address if somebody wanted to just reach out and ask you a couple of questions? I always want to make sure they have access to our guests if possible, so that maybe you might direct them in the right direction.
Sure. It's RMOELLER. What?
That's okay. I didn't want to stump you on your email.
It's only been almost a year since I've worked for him. You think I would know?
But anyway, yeah, if you can.
Okay, yeah, it's RMOELLER at Waterloo hyphen INS.com.
Got it. R. Miller at Waterloo hyphen INS.com. Is that correct?
It.
All right. And anybody can feel free to call you. I mean, send you an email. Maybe you can point them in the right direction as if they might need it. Because we have even the owner, the independent contractor needs to worry and needs to think about these things that you discuss each and every day. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the time. Like I said, I know Waterloo and Lumber. They specialize in smaller companies, and I know they can be competitive. Like I said, I'm not in an insurance group. I know nothing about. I'm learning a little bit more about the insurance side.
Right.
But like everything I do, the driver training, whether we create the safety policies and all that, everything I do, the underwriters get a copy of it. And so when it comes to renewal time, I know we use that as a little bit to hopefully help things. It can't hurt.
Well, I'll tell you what, we look forward to the R. Miller playbook on audits. So we look forward to that coming out soon, right, Bob? So that everybody will have a guide and you'll lead the industry in that. We do look forward to that. Hey, before you go, we ask you one thing before every guest gets off of the show. We ask that you say your name and then BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Rodney Miller, BCB, the live safest in the area.
All right, you got it. Thanks, Rodney. We appreciate it, and we will call you again soon. Thanks a lot, man. Interesting stuff going in and doing that and making that happen. Guys are out there helping carriers become better carriers, and you know what? If anybody does it, I guess these guys out here, these former DOT officers, know the rules.
They do. We have one, like you said, and so it is an invaluable resource. So carriers out there, if you don't have something like that, then you need to get that, because it's you can't be afraid of what they're going to say, because they're on your side. They're just pointing out things that are going to protect you, and that's what you really want. So if you don't have that, you need to get it.
Yeah, you need to follow the rules, right? You need to follow the rules, no matter how silly they are, how weird they are. And you know what? It takes a long time to know them all. And if you're wearing other hats, you're going to miss something, right, Bob?
Oh,
I mean, yeah,
correct.
Because if you're focused, even when you're focused 100% on safety, things can slip through the cracks.
Yeah, there's hundreds of things you've got to be watching out for. And everybody focus on the main things, of course, but there's things that can come back and get you from the backside, so to speak, that blindside you a little bit.
Whoa.
The old blindside, right?
Yeah.
Dave's favorite play in the playbook is the blindside attack. But no, you're right, Dave. The first thing when we went under our own authority was we had a mock audit.
Yeah, and you know what? I think they're great. I think they were very helpful. Wasn't it very helpful?
Oh, it was huge. Yeah, and we do a great job. But it just shows some things we need to kind of clean up a little bit.
And that's what we're doing here. We're trying to bring his attention, trying to bring it to the forefront. Hey, if you're thinking about it, man, get a hold of Rodney, right?
Yes.
And email him and let him help you direct in the right direction. I'll tell you what, we'll be back in just a minute, and we will talk a little, and Bob will talk about weather and traffic.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll be right back.
Good morning on this thankful Thursday, everybody. It is Buckle Up Bob, and you are tuned in to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. On this thankful Thursday, thank each and every driver out there. What you do is, I think in some cases, is a miracle. The sacrifices that you all make out there. So we want to thank you on this thankful Thursday, and we're going to get you started off with a little bit of traffic. The DFW area has some issues. I was listening this morning. There are some bad accidents right here on 30, and you can see the dark red. They said it's about a 15 to 20 minute backup. So 2 lanes are affected, and you can see stretches all the way through. So even though the loop doesn't look great, it is still your best bet. Go on the loop. You've got little spots where it's either direction, so both lanes. Once you get above 80 and 30 here, it is the northbound direction. When you get down here by 20, it's the southbound direction, going south and then back to the west. So if you're in the DFW area, avoid the downtown area if you can. It's on the east and the west side. There are lots of issues this morning with some accidents, and they do have a lot of the lanes blocked. DFW or the Fort Worth area, just the typical normal congested areas. The construction up north of 820 as you get up to 81, split 287 where it's going to join. And then, of course, coming up from the south, the northbound lanes on 35W also has some issues. And always here in Arlington, the 30 eastbound, that's always the rush hour direction. Eastbound in the morning, westbound in the evening, always a problem here on 30. So just be mindful of it. It looks like typical rush hour traffic for this Thursday, so just be patient out there. As we look into Houston, right? Houston again, downtown looks bad. Entering, you're good as you come to the loop. But boy, once you get inside the loop, it's going to be a problem. The only real big issue is going to be 10 on the eastbound side. As you come in past Katy and you get inside the first loop, you'll start to see some backups. Looks like you've got a pretty good accident here at Jersey Village. Again, you're looking at that 15 to 20 minute delay on here on 290. And then again, just a small delay on the southbound as you come down 45. But inside the city, you're going to have some problems. The loops look pretty clear, so make sure you stay on that outer loop if you can. As we go to Kansas City, overall is great, but they've had some issues the last couple of days. Clay Como has, it looks like, an accident. You've got one on 70 on the westbound lane as you approach just inside 435, the inside loop there. So, but the rest of Kansas City looks really good. So you should have a pretty smooth commute as you come into the Kansas City area this morning. As we look at Chicago, it's been pretty good this week, and today is no exception. 80-94 is clear across the Indiana-Illinois state line. 80 coming up to Joliet looks great. Bolingbrook, right? Woodridge, all look good on 55. As you come in on 88, going in and out. Aurora, Naperville, you're good. You're clear. 90 coming in from Schaumburg, Elgin, all looks great. And then if you're coming in from the north, 94 looks great. And the loops are completely clear, folks. So, again, stay on your loops, and you should have 355 looks all green. So, Chicago, you got a nice commute going on this morning. As we look into Atlanta, Atlanta is Atlanta, folks. It is our nightmare every morning, and this morning does not look to be any different. You can see from 20 all the way up and around to 20 on the other side, you have parts of that loop all have some issues. So again, the loop is not good. And remember, unfortunately, you cannot go through, pass through the inside the loop unless you deliver. So your only option, folks, and I can't stress this enough, is to head south and take the southern part of the loop around because, again, it's really clear, not much going on. And then, again, you can see 6 coming in, has some issues, but 20. This is on the eastbound side, so the Tom Murphy Freeway, right? You've got, on the eastbound direction, you've got a pretty good backup from 2285 merge all the way past Route 6 here, close to Beechwood Hills. So, again, just a nightmare this morning going east and west. And then, of course, 85 is always a problem, and it is no different today. It's backed up all the way to 316 again. So Atlanta, folks, I can't stress it enough. You have to realize it is what it is. Patience. Patience, spacing, slow your roll down, right? Talked to some drivers recently, and it's about slowing the chaos down. When everything's chaotic, that's when people make the wrong decision. So you just got to kind of slow it down. And we go to the next, Nashville. Nashville looks pretty good. Nah, 24 is what it is. Let's see. Yep. Back past Walnut Ridge and 266 all the way up. Huge problem here inside 155 loop on the westbound direction, 40-24 merge, and it continues all the way to the downtown area. Our typical 2465 merge point. We also have a little bit of a problem on the eastbound direction back here on 40 as you near Newsom, Tennessee. So, but the big issue is going to be right here on this 40 westbound lane, just before and past the 24 merge point. And then 24 coming up from the south is always an issue. It is no different today, so you're going to have to use a little patience in those areas this morning. All right, we look at the D.C. area. It is also a nightmare. You can see 95 has problems all the way down here from 4 at Forestville, all the way around over here to Bethesda, just on the west side of Bethesda there. And then again, 66 as you come into the D.C. area. You have problems all along 66 from Idlewood all the way back to Sudley. So you're going to be have to have a little patience there. As you come in, you can see up here 270 southbound. Problem all the way back here from Green Valley down to Gaithersburg. So right as you approach 200 here, you're going to have some slowdowns there. 95 looks good connecting Baltimore to D.C. 295 has a little bit on the southbound here from Russet to South Laurel, so you got about a 10 to 15 minute delay there. As we look at the Baltimore area, Baltimore not too bad. It looks like typical rush hour. Really the loop is the biggest problem, and it's from Parkville all the way around down here to Woodlawn. So from Highway 1 all the way down to 70, you're going to see some problems in both lanes, okay? Over here, it's the southbound. Right up here past Pikesville, it's the north or eastbound lanes. So, again, as you get to Parkville and Towson, it is both lanes. So, if you're in the D.C. area, just some rush hour, normal rush hour traffic this morning. So, be mindful of it and be patient. Philadelphia. Again, problems on the eastern side. They must be doing a new construction project, because this has been about 3 days in a row. This 295 connection over to Belmar has had some issues. So again, be ready for that if you're on the New Jersey side. The 95 seems to be a problem every day, but it seems to be getting bigger. It's backed up all the way to 73 in Mayfair, and then down to the northeastern side of Philadelphia. The Turnpike, 76, backed up all the way to Conshohocken and King of Prussia this morning. It's how it's been all week. And then 476, right? The southbound until you get down here just by 1. Once you cross 3, you start to get it in both directions. So from 476 from Highway 3 all the way down to 352 in Swarthmore, you're going to have some slow go in both directions in the Philadelphia area this morning. And our last one, Indianapolis. Indy looks okay. I mean, it's looked better, but again, over by the Speedway on the northbound side, right as you get to 74 and the merge point, you are going to have a little bit of a backup. And then the loop down here, 465, 74, you have some problems on the south or the westbound lanes. And then both directions in the northeast corner as you get around from 36 to past 37, almost to 31 there. In Carmel, you're going to have a slowdown as well in Indianapolis. All right. So, hey, we're going to talk about the weather. The winds should be died down a little bit. And there you can see. And let's see, they're going to, I think up in the northwest, kind of, there it comes. Looks like we got something coming down from Canada, and it's going to sweep through the north So about 7 o'clock tonight, you can see Montana, North Dakota, Wyoming are going to see some potentially strong winds as we go into tomorrow morning. They die a little bit, except for the Dakotas and western Minnesota. And then tomorrow afternoon, you can see they kind of swoop down in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas. You're going to see the brunt of this. So again, and then there, a pocket pops up here, West Virginia, Virginia, right here on that 81 north and southbound lane as you get from Tennessee all the way up. And this is probably going to move a little bit to the east. So let's look at 4. Yep, it starts to move out of West Virginia. And it starts to die down. So you're going to have it most of the day tomorrow in that West Virginia from about noon to 5 or 6. Going to be a problem, and then it starts to die down. As we look at our rain and snow for the next 48 hours, not much going on today. Just some spotty snow showers in the northwestern part of Pennsylvania and northeastern Ohio. New York, the upstate New York, looks to have some weather. Minnesota looks like you're going to get some snow today. As we go through the evening hours, right, the snow moves over into from Wisconsin into Wisconsin, and then Michigan starts to get some snow. Northern Indiana, you're going to see some wet snow as well. Illinois, Missouri, it looks like it's all going to be rain. And a little bit here in Wyoming and parts of Nebraska. As we go through the day tomorrow, you can see the snow in the upper elevations, Wyoming, Montana. Pretty much all this turns to rain for the Ohio Valley. So shouldn't be too much of an issue on our weather as we go through for the next 48 hours or so. Let's go ahead and kick it out a little bit. So let's see what your weekend, so we can kind of plan for that. Let's see if anything. It doesn't look like any major systems. The Northeast, you're going to see some wet snow. I do not expect that they're having a major storm, but we'll kind of keep an eye on that. And it pushes south more than east. So you can see it kind of just comes straight down south. Virginia, on Sunday, you could see some wet snow as it pushes through. Illinois is going to see a little bit of pocket here between Chicago and Springfield. So again, you're going to see a pretty good snow band there, possibly. But the rest of the country looks pretty good for the weekend, folks. Let's see. Everybody always wants, are we warming up any, right? Well, today at 10 p.m., you can see, doesn't look too bad. Let's get some numbers in there. So there you go, upper 40s, almost 50s at 10 p.m. So that's not bad at all for today. And then around the warmest part, you can see a lot of 60s. So again, a really nice day. Chicago is going to be one of the coldest at 31, you know, in most travel areas. Detroit 30, St. Paul 24. So a little chilly there, but all in all, not bad. Tomorrow, again, you see that cold front where that snow showers start to come in, but look how warm it gets for everybody. And then you can see that cold front pushing through by tomorrow evening. Saturday, you can see it kind of shifts over into the Ohio Valley, St. Louis 30. So you're in for a little bit of a chill, a cool down, if you will, for the southern parts of Illinois, Indiana, Missouri on Saturday. And Sunday, I think it starts to warm back up. There you go. St. Louis back up to 38 as this thing pushes a little bit back to the northeast. Hey, we're going to take a quick little break, and we'll be right back with some safety. Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Thankful Thursday. Want to thank each and every driver out there. It is Buckle Up Bob with my co-host, One Way Dave. Is it One Way Dave this morning?
It's the right way. But yeah.
Well, and that's typically anybody that's dealt with there's only one way.
Right. It's
right?
the right way, the best way, the drive safe Dave way. That's what it is. Anyway, that's what we're talking about here. But here we are. Bob, I know we're talking about backing, right? I know we've been discussing backing all week. A subject near and dear to my heart.
Yep.
What are we talking about today?
We are talking about backing up safely. We talked about get out and look, got to. Patience, right? 6 sides, right? And one of the most important things is you have to go slow, right? You really have to just take your time, slow the chaos down. And carriers out there, when you talk to your drivers, try to find the root cause, not the root cause you want. Ask a little bit more. I've had some conversations where a driver said, well, I had to go to the bathroom. Okay, that's not the root cause. Let's dig a little deeper, right? Find out there's other things on the driver's mind, and they get in a hurry and then they kind of lose all that little wisdom that they had because something else is affecting that decision. And, it kind of leads to the belief that every accident is a form of distraction, distracted driving, because something is occupying your mind to allow you to make that wrong decision.
You bring up a great point, and as we talk about when you're backing safely, look, there's a couple of things that you can do that you don't normally think of. Roll your window down and listen, because if somebody hollers out or a horn blows, you don't want to be jamming on the radio. You don't want to be talking to somebody on the phone while you're backing. You want to focus on what you're doing and making sure that you're doing everything into consideration. You can't see back there, so you want to be able to hear what's going on, because if you hear something that shouldn't be heard, or if and if somebody starts blowing a horn, it's a pretty good indication that you might need to stop and go back there and look. I'm just saying there are times when you should listen. You should be listening to what's going on around you. And since you can't see back there, listen. And it will make a difference in being safe.
Yeah, when you're backing, you want to use all your resources. And a lot of people always just focus on what they know how to do, but you want to focus on all your resources. And one of those resources, as Dave said, is roll the window down and listen. Listen to the environment around you. What are you hearing? You're going to hear some horns maybe. You might hear somebody yelling, right? That's just walking by and seeing an issue. You've got resources like, hey, sometimes you need to maybe get help, get a spotter. But always remember, no matter what resources it is still your responsibility to know. One of the most amazing things that comes out of every discussion I've had with drivers over accidents, when I just say, tell me what happened. First 2 words are always, I thought. And you've really got to practice. It's hard, don't get me wrong, but you got to practice and get to the I thought to I know. Because if you ever get to the point where it's safe to continue what you're doing, we're never having that conversation, right? Absolutely. But it's always I thought. So you want to kind of really work on how to get away from that I thought. And we've got some videos this morning, Drive Safe.
All right, I want to see them. I'm ready. Got a tractor pulling some hay.
Oh, 2-lane highways, double yellow line, hill rise, right? Here comes the car on the other side. No, and no. Can't do it, Drive Safe.
No passing lane is a no passing lane. I don't care who's blocking the road or for whatever reason.
That's it. You've got to have patience. See the driveway there? See all the tree lights? There could be a hidden driveway. Somebody's going to pull out. And that's why you've got that double lines. It's unsafe to be passing there. You have to have patience. Folks, drivers, if you're going to choose to take the rural highways, then you have to expect this, right? You can't go down there and say, well, if I run into it, I'm going to take a risk. No, if you're going to go to that, then, hey, today the plan didn't work as you wanted it. Be patient. Stay behind the tractor. He's probably going to get off within the next mile. They usually don't stay on there very long.
He's not going 300 miles like you are today.
Yeah,
I guarantee you that right now. Just be patient. Hold on. It did look like that it was going to clear up in a minute on your double A. You just need to be a little bit more patient. All right, let's
I see pavement. Drive safe.
I do too, and I look like I got a brake light out on that trailer in front of us.
Good job, driver. Look at the space and the speed. Very nice. Brake, yeah, one brake light on the left side is out.
That is a DOT violation if I've ever seen one.
Yep. Hey, if you got the opportunity, let the driver know that he's got a brake light out. Just roll your window down and yell.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
We have CBs. I mean, you can always use a CB.
The other day I was behind a vehicle and I
dreaded railroad
tried
track.
no more than 13 times to flash my brights at them because they had no lights on. Great. Oh, drive safe. Did your shirt work here? Drivers, if you did this correctly because of Drive Safe Dave's shirts, raise your hand and let us know. Great job.
Oh yeah, good job
Second
here.
thought, realizes, hey, I may not.
I'm not
it's a double track.
Yeah, and I'm not going to make that light. Hey, you know what? Now I'm going to wait for it to clear and then clear these tracks. Great job. I don't know who did this, but this person gets a gold star today.
Yep.
100% gets a gold star, not parked on either track, not forced into the intersection, and makes a great decision here to wait patiently until the next green
And you
light.
can almost see the thought process, right? Okay, I've got enough room to cross this track. And then as he gets up there and the light changes, you see the second. The second track was hard to see for me.
Yeah.
So great job, driver. Perfect. Love to see it. I agree with the gold star. Drive safe. All right. A decent lane change. We got a blinker.
Well, blinker's
over.
going
Merge.
everywhere. Everybody's
Merge
communicating.
is going. Who's going to do the dumb thing? Yeah, it's that car on the right. There he comes. The drivers, you can see the slowdown already. Anticipating. Good job, I think.
Oh, yeah, we're way back. Big picture.
Yes.
We got big picture here in this station.
Terrific job, driver. Wow. A lot of good things going on. We started off rough, but we're rebounding quickly. Good job. Here again, we're coming up. I don't see anything. Somebody's got to pull out, right? Or is it a light that's going to change?
There's yellow, there's yellow, there's yellow, and there's red. Bam.
All right. Hey, the good news is you were able to stop at one of the most dangerous places. Hey, folks, it's just a practice tool. You got to always start slowing down now and prepare to stop. If it stays green, great. If it don't, it makes your stop a little easier on your equipment, on the brakes. So again, slow down a little bit sooner, but great job that you were able to stop.
Yeah, warning right there. There was a sign right there that said light ahead, so you kind of know what's coming up. Good job. We're stopped.
Yes, we did. Number one.
We're stopped. We didn't run this intersection.
We were able to stop. Yes. All right, we had space. We are now tailgating. It looks like you've got space, but you don't, and it's shrinking. Here comes the car on the left. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Didn't do it. So just a tailgating. I was waiting for the quick lane change to pop out there. Hey, folks, again, this is about learning, okay? This doesn't make this a bad driver. It just means a bad decision. Always remember that. But you also got to realize that one bad decision, a lot of times we see in these videos, lead to a second bad decision. Hey, you're starting to gain here. Just back off, right? Just give him some space.
You can't be this close to the car in front.
No.
You can't. You got to own that space. You got to own that space between you and the vehicle. Other than that, you know what?
Pretty good.
Man, you got to give that space. To be the defensive driver, be the leader out there on the road. I know you're driving down here. I know you can see. You got pretty good field of view all around. But seriously, you've got to give that driver, because you never know what happens, right?
Yeah.
You
But
never
drive
know.
safe. If I get up on him, he'll move over and get out of my way, right?
No.
Okay. I'm trying to be Sir Rick.
No.
Right?
He will not necessarily. He might be busy, distracted himself, right?
He could be.
Yeah, so.
You know, and typically, and drivers, you can answer this. Probably, I think I see more time when somebody's really going slow, and I do get the opportunity to go around them. They are on that cell phone. It's almost all the time. Not every time, but I'd say close to 90%
Like that
of the
makes
time.
that makes it safer.
Yeah,
right?
because you're going slower.
I'm
so
going,
I can be.
I am going to go a little slower than the rest of everybody, but I am perfectly safe to be out there texting.
Yes.
It
But
can
you
wait.
see that a lot, and especially in really slow-moving vehicles. So that can be a red flag. If you know that, then just realize that when you're tailgating, they're not paying attention. So
No.
there's a good chance all of a sudden they're going to look up and either hit somebody or slam on the brakes, and there you are caught in no man's land.
Yeah, and as we saw the video, I did like, I try to focus a lot on railroad tracks and, the communication between, because railroad tracks, they don't have to stop, right? They're not,
No.
they can't.
They can't. They're not
Right,
going
and
to.
it is unforgiving, and it is an accident that when they do collide, it sometimes can be very fatal. I mean, or I don't know why I said very, but it can be.
Yeah.
I don't.
Is there lightly fatal?
Yeah,
Somewhat fatal?
It can be fatal, and
Yes.
I do like the image earlier of when the driver stopped well behind the track just because of the light. It is scary to me that there isn't a signage there that says 50 feet or so many feet between the light and the intersection. Normally they allow that, or there might be, and it makes it very difficult for trucks. And did you notice it was dark, right? Not if you haven't been over that path before, now you're encountering a very dangerous situation with these railroad tracks.
Yeah, you bring up a great point, Dry Say. The white line's there. Everything in the rule book says you stop, right? It's required if you're a hazmat hauler, right?
Absolutely.
So why not just put a stop sign on that side of the thing and make everybody stop to be safe and then proceed?
That's dependent upon the community, and that might be that might be a drive from a customer, that might be a street from just a small side street.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever the case is, or however it is incumbent upon the driver to identify those situations and make great decisions like that, and do the best you can out there when it comes to that kind of stuff, because you definitely don't ever want to stop on a track for any reason whatsoever. All it does is lead to a dangerous situation. Not the fact that but the truck can stall.
Yes.
Yeah. You can get blocked. Something may happen in the intersection and you can't move, right? Or it might be a fast-moving train. I'm just saying, in those situations, you never want to be on a track. You never want to hesitate on a track. You never want to pause on a track. You want to clear a track, and you want to make sure as you clear the track, you're looking both ways before you cross that intersection as well. That's an intersection.
Yep.
And
yes.
And that is a dual intersection. There's no second, by the way, there's no second set of lights on the second track.
No.
There's no second warning, right? So
right.
A lot of the times people will make they will see the first track clear or be blocked by view. Let's say you have a train stopped on the first track. You can't see down the second track. And if a train's coming down the second track, you won't see it until you're on it. So you've got to be very careful about what's going on there. Bob, please close with a prayer as we go on this Thankful Thursday.
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we have so much to be thankful for. Your Son, who you sent to save us all, Lord. And on this special day each week that we like to take the time to thank your servants, Lord, the men and women out there that serve their country, their states, their companies, right? Their families, Lord, by the jobs that you provided. Help them do it safely, Lord. Help them make that life-protecting decision today and every day, every second, Lord. Give them the wisdom and the courage and the strength to do it well. Lord, let them be the tender-hearted servants that you showed us how to be. Lord, protect some of the drivers and all people who are struggling. There are many. And it seems to be growing during these pandemic times, but we want to lift up our sister Donna Carner, Lord. She's going through some really, really tough times right now with some loss of family and just some other things that are just weighing on her mind, Lord. Help us watch her. Help her fellow drivers keep an eye on her, Lord. Just kind of love on her a little bit and help her get home safe. Heavenly Father, she's got a lot of mind. We also want to lift up our brother Larry Graham and Jeffrey Marsh, Lord. Folks, Lord, they don't know why they're going through the struggles they're going, but help them understand that you will use this for your good, and it will be okay. Lord, we ask all of this in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, everybody, we will be back this afternoon at 2:15. We'll see you then. Goodbye, everybody. Be safe.